Welcome to the All Metal Mode podcast with your host, Michael Hare. Tune in every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern with co-host Gypsy Jules, and every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern with Matt Hoffman as we talk to guests, discuss metal detectors, equipment, and everything treasure related. Feel free to join in the discussion in the chat room during the show, and please, if you like what you hear, we'd appreciate you taking a moment, hit that like button, and share the link with your friends. We hope you enjoy the show. The All Metal Mode podcast starts right now.
Good evening, everybody. This is Mike here, and you're listening to the All Metal Mode podcast. Unfortunately, tonight, Matt could not join us because we had to boot him off the show. We're just tired of him. The ladies were just like, we're done with him. He's a jerk. We don't like him. No, I'm only kidding. Matt's still having internet issues, so that is, he called me today and said, hey, I'm still having internet issues. Can I be off the show? And I'm like, I guess, but, you know, we're docking your pay and stuff. So you can find us on Facebook at All Metal Mode, as well as All Metal Mode Podcast UK. All Metal Mode is every Monday and Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And All Metal Mode UK is every Thursday at 8 p.m. GMT time or 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can listen to the show on Spreaker. Of course, we're live right now. If you're listening live, you can come into the chat when you click on the show at the bottom, rectangle box comes up with the pause and play button and all that. Click on that. There's a chat bubble. Jump in chat. You do have to sign up. It takes a second. You can even do it through your Facebook account. So it's very easy. You can find us on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube. Tell your friends, family, grandma. We don't care who tunes in. Just we'd appreciate you listening to us and spreading the word. Dirt Digest magazine, September issue is out. It's a free online magazine. Check us out at dirtdigestmagazine.com. There you have it. And I think it turned out really good. We've gotten some really good praises on it. October is shaping up really nice, so check it out when you can. So tonight we're going to have the ladies, and actually I'm not going to be on the show. I'm just going to tune in and listen. And Amanda, Gypsy, how you doing tonight? Oh, hold on. I still got them on mute. Sorry, ladies. I still got you on mute. You two got me flustered because I'll tell you, you two pre-show off air had me blushing. I just, wow, you two are something else. I'm only kidding, everybody. But we were all laughing and having fun. And okay, I'm going to get off of here. You two have a great show. If you need me, get a hold of me.
Sounds good. Thanks, Matt. Mike.
Hey, now, don't be calling me Matt. We'll have issues, Gypsy. I like you, but you start doing that.
Hey, Matt did great. He sent a sticker, sent a lot of us a sticker, and I'm sure the winners from a few weeks ago. I've been gone 2 weeks, so it's good to be back. I missed y'all.
Yeah, we missed you. So you got your crying towel.
Yeah, I got my crying towel and my sticker, and he even put my YouTube logo on the opposite side of the all metal logo on the crying towel. So that's awesome.
Awesome.
It was really nice. So, Matt, if he's having internet problems, he may not be listening now, but thanks again, Matt. Appreciate it. So
That's
how
great.
about
So
you? What have you been up to, Amanda?
Just trying to get out as much as I can. You know, we are getting into the fall season, so the weather is definitely changing. I know that, I think it was Saturday night, we were about 40 degrees, so it's a little bit too early in my mind.
Oof, yeah.
Just got to start bundling up and mornings are chilly, the evenings are chilly, but definitely makes for day swinging pretty good. So how about yourself? You've been traveling?
Yeah, I did a little traveling. Went to Kansas, so that was a nice little short trip. Part of it was personal, and then, of course, you and I are a lot the same, have detector, we'll travel.
Yeah.
I can always bring my detector along with me no matter where I go, because always there's some opportunity that pops up. So, was at a little birthday thing and was talking to some folks, and, of course, they asked what I do, so tell them about metal detecting and about my YouTube channel, etc. And, of course, people go, oh, and the next thing you know, they're inviting you to come metal detect their place. So I've got a property to detect next time I come to Kansas, and then I got to detect 2 little properties this time, and one didn't pan out as well. There wasn't a well on the property. Didn't find much. It was a lot more to explore, and then part of it had corn, a big cornfield on it right now, so couldn't detect that. So the lady's property that I was on, she's like, oh, you know what? I forgot. I bought a lot with an old house built in the 1800s just about 2 miles from here. Let's go. You want to go detect that? And I was like, sure.
Yeah.
So jumped on that and got a silver barber, and let's see, what else did I get? A V-nickel, along with some other stuff that, of course, I won't mention. People have to watch my YouTube channel, my video, to see what else. But, yeah, it was fun.
That's awesome, though. That's awesome.
It's amazing when you're traveling and you just happen to, start talking to somebody. This is somebody I'd never met before. And, sitting there talking about what you do, and then the next thing you know, hey, yeah, come detect my property.
One of the top reasons to travel with your detector.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what about you? Tell us about, I noticed you've been digging up some really cool stuff, so tell us about some of your recent finds.
Let's see. This weekend, hit a place that I've been going for the last week or so. Ended up finding, some good-sized dandy buttons. I think one's got a design. Haven't cleaned it up yet. I'm slacking on the cleaning department. So I need to get to those. And then got home and John was like, oh, I have an early birthday surprise for you. And he was like, get in the truck, and we got in the truck, and he brought me to another one of my bucket lister places that I've been wanting to go to. We went and explored it for a little bit. Found a couple interesting things that I'm not quite sure what they are. But definitely some more exploring needs to be had. I know there's 2 cellar holes, so one still has like a giant foundation around it. Like it's huge. So I'm pretty sure that was the barn. I spotted the well, so I did get to detect around the well a little bit, and that's where I found some of the interesting stuff. But definitely looking forward to going back. It's not that much of a hike, but the afternoons, getting out of work and then trying to swing over, I might try to make it happen here throughout the rest of the week. So definitely a great birthday present. I was pretty excited.
Yeah.
At the same time, yes.
When's your birthday? I missed that.
Saturday. Yeah, it's coming up.
Oh, coming up. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll have to have a celebration. After birthday celebration when I see you in a few weeks. So.
Yes.
We'll definitely have to do that.
Yeah. So, one of my favorite things, and of course on the ride, it's a guessing game all the time because there's multiple places he knows about that I'm constantly like, oh, I need to stop in, and was gone all day Saturday, so yeah, he went over and met the property owner, and yeah, come on over. So it was fun.
Awesome.
It was good. So yeah, definitely looking forward to trying it again soon. But
Man, and I noticed Bill had mentioned something about, did you get a chance to drop a magnet down the well? And that was something that I usually always bring my magnet with me as well, or one of my magnets. I've got 3 of them. And this little trip to Kansas, I was like, I don't think I'll need the magnet. And then I had this huge well there. I would have loved to have dropped the magnet in. So, one of those situations.
yeah, definitely something I don't have the gear for that, so I might actually have to go check it out and get into some magnet fishing here soon. And I know we have the rivers and the mills that were around here, so it'll be interesting.
It would be, and I mean, especially with the mills and rivers, wells, any of those are awesome places to. I guess I'll have to bring mine too when we come. I could bring an extra one. We could both try it when I see you. So
be great.
I'm sure I'll have plenty of room in the suitcase. So I usually always pack 2 detectors on a trip like that. That way I've got a backup in case something goes wrong or someone else wants to detect with me. So,
now, do you check them, or do you carry them on, or do you check them?
Always check them. Yeah.
All right.
I'm afraid I'm going to get razzed for bringing a detector on. I'm not sure if they exactly allow it, but I always check it. And I know that once I was going through security, and I got razzed because I had in my purse I had a 9-volt battery, and they pulled it out of my purse and was like, "What's this for?" And I'm like, "It's for my pinpointer. I do metal detecting." And they're looking at me like I'm some boy that's going to build a bomb or something with the battery, use it as a detonator or something. I don't know what. Anyway, but crazy. Yeah, so I've gotten, and I got stopped another time because I usually always bring 2 pinpointers as well, and I had forgotten on the way back, flying back, I think this was a trip to Florida, and I had left my pinpointer in my backpack, or one of my pinpointers in my backpack, and they stopped me and were like, "What's this?" And it clearly says metal detector on there. On the pinpointer, the carrot, and the guy's just sitting there looking at it. "What is this?" And I'm like, "It's a metal detector. It's a pinpointer, blah, 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 blah." And he's like, "Well, you can't carry a tool on the plane that's over 7 or 9 inches. I forget exactly what he was saying, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh, my goodness." And finally he went and asked somebody else, and they said, "Oh, go ahead."
Yeah. I was going to say, I've always carried mine on, but my trips aren't. Yeah, my trips are about, maybe four days at most, and they were work related. So yeah, I take it all apart, and yeah, I haven't had a problem.
So what about your digging tool? That's what I would probably get razzed about, because it could be a weapon.
Well, I knew I was doing the beach. So I had my just a handheld scoop, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, and then I just put my socks in it.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so that way I could store, because it was taking up a bit of room. I only brought the 1 bag.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness.
I had more room for the detector.
I've always been scared because of my digging tools, because, the handheld digger looks like a serrated knife blade practically, and then my shovel is usually in my suitcase, my Predator digging tool. So I've always been paranoid about it, so I usually just check it. And then I'm worried about my luggage getting lost. So.
Oh, yeah. So that's I think that was my main concern. So that's why I did the carry-on, and I had checked ahead of time, and they were pretty much okay with it. Just don't have the batteries in the machine, and
okay.
I was like, oh, yeah, that works. So
cool.
I think they're becoming maybe more accustomed of seeing them. I think there's a lot of us that might travel
more and more. I think so.
Yeah.
I think you're right. That's probably it. So,
but speaking of that, for travel, where do you think would be the one or two dream spot that you would like to dig if you could?
Oh man, all over the world. Let's see. You're talking not just United States, right?
Yes, correct.
Number one would probably be like England, the UK, mainly because of the history and the Roman battles, the Saxon, all of that history. To dig something like that would be, amazing. So I would have to say that's probably England, Ireland, all that would be top on my list. How about you?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
If
I could have gone this past weekend to Detectivable. I probably would have.
Oh, man, me too. I would have too if I'd have had the money to go. I definitely would have. So,
and I think I would probably. Yeah, I'm like, start planning it for next year, and I think instead of just doing the weekend thing, I'm like, I should probably already ask for an entire week or 2 weeks.
Right.
And do a whole thing over there. Hey, if you're gonna put the money into a flight,
Exactly.
Might as well make it worth it. Yep.
Right.
But I can't wait. I haven't seen much yet of what people have dug, so I guess I need to get on there and check out some finds.
Yeah, I'm going to be excited to watch some videos and check out some finds. I've been seeing some of the posts and stuff. Mainly it's a people, not a find. So,
yeah,
people seeing people from, across the pond and stuff like that. But
absolutely.
But, yeah. So, what about the U.S.? Do you have any dream spots that you would like to hunt?
South.
South.
Virginia, North Carolina, further down, Georgia, the Southeast.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yep. How about you?
Yeah, I would say the same. Have you ever detected in Florida? I know that's way south, but...
No, I didn't actually. That was the one trip I didn't bring my detector. So I've done California, or the beach in California, and then North Carolina is as far south as I've gotten.
Okay.
So yeah. Florida sounds fun.
It is. It's fun. It's fun. Now I've detected when I went to on a cruise and stuff like that, brought my detector. So I detected in Cancun and Mexico and Coco Cay in the what was that? The Bahamas? What was that? Yeah, I guess that was it. And those were all amazing experiences, but at the same time, I still think the UK is the top. And then I think, I've always wanted to go to check out Australia as well. I think that would be a neat place, some of the beaches there and stuff. What do you think?
Yeah. Australia's on my list of nope.
You don't want to go there?
N-O-P-E, nope. They've got spiders the size of basketballs. Therefore, they are voted. It's not happening. They have more poisonous creatures there, or I've heard. Obviously I have never been because it's on my list of nope.
Yeah.
So
That's funny.
it's probably the last place I want to detect.
I heard the beaches there are just gorgeous, though. So I don't
Agreed.
know.
Yeah, I have heard that. But
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I don't mind spiders. I can handle them when they're, normal sized spiders. But when they're Spider-Man sized spiders, I'm okay.
That would be Mike too. If you mentioned spiders or snakes, he definitely wouldn't, do that. Me, I don't know. I want to go to Arizona. Well, I have been. Never mind. I have detected in Arizona, but there's just certain areas in Arizona that I really would like to detect at, I guess. And of course, here in Texas, I think a dream spot would be, at one of the, something a really big historic place like the Alamo or something. If you could get invited to, do a dig at a place like that was like that, that would be another dream spot.
Absolutely. With those,
I can't even
any
imagine.
place that has a historical marker to be invited to go dig would be, yes, absolute dream.
Definitely. So can you think of another one off the top of your head? I mean, the only one that really pops in my mind is the Alamo. I can't really think. In the U.S., I know there's several places, I'm sure, that would be great.
Well, anywhere around, I guess, Gettysburg, but that would be a...
Right. Yep. Totally. Let's see.
I mean, there's some areas in Massachusetts, too, like Lexington and Concord. I know that there's private permissions that there's the possibility, but, I mean, that would also be on my list of absolutely.
Ooh, and Mike in chat just mentioned the White House. Can you imagine the White House detecting on the White House lawn and all the presidents before and just what could be there,
Do you think there's stuff underneath it, though? Like tunnels and stuff? So would the tunnels interfere?
That's a good question. Because I'm sure there's plenty of tunnels and secret passages and stuff like that.
Yeah. But yeah, the White House with the amount of
thought of that.
Presidents, and I mean, I'm up here near Kennebunkport, so I think the Bush's summer house is up here. So I know that they've had a lot of people over the years. Yeah, anything like that I think would be quite neat.
Yeah, and Steve says Vicksburg, would be very doable. So, yeah, any of those. Oh man, yeah, I often wish I lived in that direction, and not here in Texas. So, I want a place where there's even older history, So, I guess I should have been born in England.
Oh, yeah. Agreed. I mean, there's
Ireland.
So yeah, I was gonna say Ireland would be phenomenal. Spain.
Oh yes, Spain. Oh, that reminds me. I have a friend that I used to work with that commented not too long ago on something I had posted. He's from Spain. And he said, "Oh, you need to come over to my country, and that's basically what you would really have to do. Spain, Italy, any of those places, is you would almost have to know someone there, to be able I had a friend also not too long ago that went to Italy and detected, and they got permission to hunt a vineyard. And I gotten a few years ago invited to Italy, but I would love to go to Italy. That would be another place. But I know their laws are a little different over there, so it would definitely have to be private property, that you have some sort of permission, a permission there to be able to hunt, for sure.
Yeah.
Jeff says Area 51.
I was going to say, it'd probably be hard to go there and knock on doors.
It would. I mean, I couldn't. And that for me, any kind of language barrier would be rough because I speak redneck Texan. I don't know. So yeah, I would have to have an interpreter with me wherever I go if I went knocking doors. Katie asked a question earlier in chat. Did you see it? Let me scroll down here.
Coolest place we've already hunted.
She was asking, what was the coolest places you both have already hunted? Let me think about that. One cool place is Haunted Hill House.
You detected there?
No, it's a place over in Mineral Wells. I still haven't ever uploaded my video for that. I've got editing and photos and stuff. That was an experience. But as for historical spots or anything of our coolest places, can you think of one? What's one of your favorite places you've detected at?
I can't think of the name of whose property it was, but it's on the Cape, and it was like a baroness. And
wow.
it's like vacant now. It's been purchased, and they're gonna, I believe, maybe build on it. But I was given permission to dig there, and that was quite fun. Like to see the house with the copper all around, and it had a Victrola inside still, and it was pretty neat. The pool was it was all marble, and I mean it's been filled in, but you could see all the way around it, and the marble tables, and they had like what must have been a koi pond or some type of a pond that was still beautiful stones around it, and I mean it was one of the neat
statues. Or anything like that around too?
No statues. Nope. No statues. But it was definitely beautiful. And I mean a lot of fun. Hopefully maybe getting back down there. Time just flies. So
Right.
But that was probably one of the cooler places to see. Just there were 2 big homes, one large house, and then they were cabins, summer cabins that you think of a cabin, but it was definitely a lot bigger than the normal size cabin. And I believe there were 4 of those. So it was fun, and that the hurricane in the 30s, a lot of those cabins got moved, and a lot of the stuff there probably got shifted. So
right.
Yeah, it would take a lot longer, I think, to detect, because where you think you're digging, the stuff probably it wasn't there to begin with. It was someplace else. So, but the house was definitely there, and I mean, again, just the copper downsputter gutters and all those things.
Oh yeah,
it was a beautiful, beautiful, cool place to dig.
Oh man, I think another one of my top places would be, and of course there's a lot in Europe, would be castles. to be able to detect around some of those old castles would be just top of my list right there.
Yeah, that would
You there?
be. You've seen some of those abandoned ones that are just amazing.
Right. And I guess another one besides castles, you just made me think of it, saying, some of the ruins, but some of those old cathedrals and churches as well. That would be amazing too, I guess my extent of metal detecting in cool places is like maybe a few old plantations, a few old cellar holes, mostly just older properties. But here, we don't have as older properties as what you have in your direction. So,
True.
None of the colonial properties here. So.
True. So coming out to New York will be good.
Yes, it's top of my. It's definitely one thing to cross off my bucket list. That's for sure. I've never been to New York, and so this is definitely going to be, or that direction. I've always been the opposite direction, towards California. I've been to Canada. Kind of that direction, and of course to Florida and Georgia and some of those states. We're north east, so it's exciting.
How did you find the soil differences in the different states that you went? Like, was there any state that was absolutely different than what you're used to digging?
Arizona.
Yeah.
Because of the hot rocks, the red soil, more of a sandstony type soil, a lot of it. Although I have to say parts of Texas can be very similar to parts of Arizona. So, getting used to the hot rocks over in Arizona was different, that type of thing. So, definitely a difference there. And it's amazing to me. I don't know if you have the same situation, but where I live, I can go I can take 5 or 6 steps sometimes, and the soil will completely change within hardly any. One will be real rocky soil. The next minute it's real soft, sandy soil. And then I'll go on, and then you're in some clay. And then the next you walk a few feet more, and you're in the real dark, rich soil. So it's weird, different places here in Texas. It can change within a couple feet, the soil. It's weird.
Yes. I know that certain permissions like parks and stuff, but I know that they do stuff, and then you have fields, and some put fertilizer down and some don't.
Right.
But no, right. I don't think it changes that drastically at one
where you are
said place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. I watch a lot of YouTube videos where people are digging in this soft, fluffy soil, and they get lots of rain. And here you're trying to, in Texas, after I got back from Kansas, I went detecting with my buddy Scott a few days ago, and we went to a place where he had found some Civil War buttons. He had found like a script eye, I think a few eagle buttons, and anyway, he took me to the spot, and we could barely even get our shovel in it because there's no rain here in Texas, as opposed to, the further east you go, a lot more rain. So it's rock hard. You can't even get your shovel. You needed a pickaxe or something. So we're like, well, we're coming back to the spot, but it's going to be after we've had a couple days of rain. So
Yeah,
that's what
sounds
we're
like a
waiting
lot.
for.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds like actually a lot of people are waiting for rain and cooler temperatures. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll send mine. I'll send mine your way.
And I'm one of those weird ones because I grew up in West Texas that the heat doesn't bother me. I will say I honestly did get a little lightheaded a few days ago when Scott and I were digging because I hit this one little spot. We were hunting up in the brush, and like I said, the ground was like rock hard. And so I had this little horse bit, whatever you call it, horse tack piece that had a root going through the ring thing on it. And it was at the base of this tree, and the ground is rock hard, plus it has the root, so I'd already left my water in the pickup, and so I'm sitting there trying to chop this after we'd been detecting already about an hour without water in this 98-degree heat. And I'm like, I had to sit down. I felt lightheaded after, trying to chop this root up in this rock-hard soil with my to get that out of there. And I was like, oh, I got to sit down, Scott. I'm sorry. And he's like, no, I think I better take a rest too. And after that, we walked back to the pickup and got water and had our lunch. But, heat doesn't normally bother me, but if as long as I have a little water that I can kind of sip on as I go, I'm fine. I mean, it doesn't usually affect me like it did.
Is it humid? Was it humid as well, or?
A little humidity because the temperatures have started to drop because we were up in the hundreds and now they've kind of come down to the higher 90s down to the mid 90s is what it's been being. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the humidity.
I got used to the humidity, I guess, from living different places in Texas, and especially when I lived in Galveston, near the beach. It's a different kind of humidity. It's a sticky, salty humidity because of the salt air from the ocean. So I guess I got so used to that humidity that it doesn't bother me as much, So, sorry, I'm reading, Bill said something about cramps. Oh, yeah. And that's the thing. It is so important to stay hydrated, though, when you are out metal detecting. So usually if I have my backpack on, that's what I try to have extra water, but with the temperature, when it's colder, I don't usually get as dehydrated as, the heat just zaps it from you.
And see, that was the thing is, yesterday it wasn't real hot. So out digging, I wasn't drinking as much water as I would. So ended up with the foot cramp, and I'm like,
Cramps?
what in the world?
Oh,
and then
no.
I was like, oh yeah, I definitely didn't drink as much water as I normally would have. Because he wasn't profusely sweating from digging in the heat.
And Amanda, you've already warned me about the cold when the temperature changed, so I'm already kind of dreading that. I don't like to check, 40-degree weather below that. So
well, during the day it'll probably be good. And I mean, we are up here in New England. I mean, the weather does change. I mean, I think they're talking, again, tomorrow's supposed to be a little bit further north than me, but they're going to have a frost. So, but that's, not anywhere near where we are going to be in New York. So just, I'll keep you updated on the temperature. Yeah. I'll send you the long list of warm gear that we usually need.
How many layers I need to bring.
Yep.
And I do need to get me some of those, what were we calling them? The little
Hand and foot warmers, yeah.
Yes, I need to get some of those. Because here in Texas, I mean, our cold is 30-something degrees. It's not, that's our coldest, We barely even get a little snow flurry once a year, and that's about it, if that. So I'm not used to the cold.
Well, I'm hoping we're going through
October. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I'm hoping right now we're having that cold, but then come the end of September, early October, we'll be back in the warm again, which it does. It fluctuates. So, but yeah, Bill, someone should bring a 55-gallon drum and some firewood.
Right.
It's a brilliant idea.
That is a great idea.
Yeah.
Definitely. I know last year, and this is in March, we had a cold front move in there at the Charles Garrett hunt, and I tell you, I got sick. I lost my voice, my throat. It was bad. So I'm worried about that as well, is being there and the climate change and all that I might get sick. So lots of vitamins.
Yep, vitamins and layers. And if you start feeling like your feet are even the slightest bit damp, even if it was cold to warm, you got to just change your socks up. Like, even if it's sitting down for a minute.
Socks.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. I remember that because
Yep.
I do, you've got I'll have these warm boots on with thermal socks, and then the next thing you know, you're sweating. And then I'm sure as the temperature starts to drop, then it's time to change, I guess.
Yep. Something that and gloves. I always bring a couple extra pairs of those as well, because the minute, if it's cold and then your hands get damp, or it gets sweaty, when if it starts dropping temperature again, swapping up your gloves works too.
Okay.
Anything to stay dry and technically warm.
Okay. I know that at this last hunt that I went with the Charles Garrett hunt, I brought like two different coats. I brought, a lighter coat and then a longer kind of trench coat thing. And then I would get out there and start detecting, and then I would get so hot that I would have to take my coat off. And then it was, where do I put it? Do I tie it around my waist? And then it's just in the way. And so is there something that you do when you wear layers that, maybe a tip for someone like me that's not used to hunting in colder weather?
Bill, I'm not going to have her dressed up like a Christmas story, I promise. Technically, I try to do a lot of thin layers. Thin but warm. You've got a lot of different microfibers or the fleeces or things like that. So you could easily take them off and either throw them in your bag, or sometimes I'll keep plastic bags attached and attach them to my bag. Like, I'll tie it up and, tie it to the back of my backpack so it will be over it. I mean, most of them aren't really that heavy, so that way it doesn't really bother me so much. But if I'm doing field hunts like that, I always carry a larger backpack. That way I'm not having to trek back to either my vehicle or wherever. So I try to make sure that, the water, you have a first aid kit, you have, the extra gear that you might need, or extra batteries, like an energy bar, or I forget what they're called that I have.
I usually carry that. I carry like a first aid kit in my backpack. I usually, always have the extra water bottle. And then I have the extra gloves. What else? Like the protein bar, that's always a plus, because you expend a lot of energy when you're out there digging and walking and swinging that detector for a while. I know my arm gets worn out pretty fast if it's a big field with, you're not stopping to dig a lot. So.
Yeah. That and bug spray. I always carry extra
yes.
bug spray with me.
Yes.
Because if I get 2 miles from my vehicle and, I've either perspired most of it off or it doesn't seem to really be working, and then, yes, I will use the entire can on myself.
Bug spray
or if you,
and sunscreen.
That's the one thing I forget is sunscreen.
You forget? Okay. Well,
yes.
I'll probably have that with me, so. Oh, boy. Trying to remember all the stuff I've got to bring. That normally I keep in my car, in my trunk, so I just have it there in my backpack ready to go.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's going to be a little bit different without the car right there to be able to go back to. So that's one of the things, too, when you're traveling to a big event like this is, you don't want to, what can I bring? What should I bring? Obviously, with the weather, we'll definitely keep an eye on the weather because I believe it is rain or shine. So, I mean, when in doubt, too, when you come to an area like that, if you realize, oh, no, it's going to rain the entire time, I have done this before, is gone to the store and got trash bags.
Trash bags work really well.
Yeah,
I usually carry one of those little yellow Garrett rain ponchos in my backpack. They give them away at a lot of these Garrett functions, and they've given me some in the past, and I've given them away as little prizes and stuff. But I usually have one or two of those in my backpack too. But when you don't have that, the trash bags work fantastic.
And I'm not ashamed. I'll wear that trash bag around.
Me neither. Me neither. I don't want to have to stop. I want to keep going, keep metal detecting. So, definitely.
Yeah. And if you're wearing the backpack that might not be waterproof, if it's not sprayed yet, or if it's just not able to be sprayed or waterproof, if you cover that in the back, and you don't want to get wet, and then it starts weighing it down even more. So.
Right. So let me ask you, do you wear a ball cap or anything when you detect, or?
I do and I don't. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. Most of the time, sunglasses. I know that once it does start getting cold, I do keep a thin, it's like a snow cap type thing, but it's lightweight and it covers my head. And but no, I think most of the time I don't.
Okay. Yeah, I do a lot because, here in Texas it gets so hot and sunny, and it keeps the sun off my face and, keeping me from getting sunburned and stuff. So I'm so used to wearing a hat when I detect. I probably 95% or more of the time occasionally I'll forget a hat, but I don't like the way I look in a hat, but I have to wear them usually when I metal detect. So, another thing I wanted to ask you is what kind of pants do you wear? I usually detect here in Texas in blue jeans. Mainly, I have people say, how can you stay in blue jeans in the middle of summer? Because it gets so hot, why aren't you detecting in shorts? But I'm the one that always wanders off the beaten path, and I'm in the brush, in the weeds, I'm detecting wherever. So I have to wear something, to protect, my legs from getting scratched and all kinds of other bug bites and you name it. So what type of pants do you usually wear? Is it like an outdoor dry quick type pant, or? I have those, and I didn't have them until this year. So I also do the blue jeans, but I have layers underneath them. So I tend to do, blue jeans, and then I have a couple layers that I stick underneath, and
Um, yeah, I know that they don't dry as fast. So I did look into getting some of those dry fit or whatever the quick dry
Yeah.
pants are.
I just bought
but
a pair.
I wore them out
Okay.
in the woods, and compared to jeans, any of those, and y'all can laugh, but Briars, we have their spiky bushes.
Do they
go
poke
right through those pants. Yeah, whereas my jeans, they don't. So, you know, it's going to be one of those, yeah, I'm not really sure. I'll probably end up doing the blue jeans, and then might sound funny, and y'all can hear I do pantyhose or nylons underneath because it keeps the ticks off.
Oh, that's a smart idea.
Yes.
Huh. I didn't even think of that. That's a good idea. See, we all learn from each other. I know most of the guys in the chat and listening you're not going to get them in any kind of nylons under their pants, but heck, if it keeps the ticks off and all that stuff, heck yeah.
It does, because you could tape your pants down and somehow they still manage to get in. I don't know how.
Wow.
You know, I know that they've been called Satan's army, little ticks. But yeah, so that's what I tend to do. I don't know. I'll probably bring both. I mean, I'm doing the natural hunt both days, so I'm going to give it a go first day, see how it is, and maybe swap up. I don't know.
So on some of the maps, it looked like a lot of it was kind of open field, like cut, you know, nicely cut fields. Do you think most of it is going to be that way? Or I know there's going to be a creek and some creeks and stuff we can kind of get down into as well. So
yeah, I'm not sure. It looks nice. The place looks nice.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
A lot of acreage.
Again, though, it's just someplace I'm excited just to dig out of state.
Heck yeah. Right.
Yeah. So what is the one thing that you have to have with you out in the field or when you're out digging?
That's a must. I don't know. Let's see. I feel lost anymore without my pinpointer. I mean, I use it I detected so many years without a pinpointer, but now I'm like, I have to have my pinpointer. I don't know. What's yours?
The pinpointer is definitely a key to have. I think I have turned around, and thankfully most of the times I forgot it. I wasn't too far from home. But yeah,
I guess you can't do without some form of digger.
Yeah, see.
You can do without the pinpointer, but not the digger.
I have a Lucky Finds pouch that I think I've had to turn around and gone back for, or I felt like I jinxed myself by not having it, or.
Yeah, I don't really have anything like that. You know, I tend. There's always.
Do you have anything?
Someone that I metal detect with, you know, I used to have like friends that like every time I went out with them, I would find something really good. So I was like, oh, you're my lucky charm. You're coming on, you're going with me detecting. But not really one thing that, you know.
Is lucky? Or one, do you have one thing that's lucky that you have to have and bring out with you? Like
Not
a
really.
lucky shirt, lucky hat? No?
I mean, I have my favorite things I like to wear, and I don't know if they would necessarily bring me luck, though. I don't know. I don't really have a good look charm, I guess. I guess I need to get one.
Well, it sounds like
I'll dig more.
It sounds like you've had some digging partners that are good luck charms. So
yeah.
What do you? Yeah. So you like digging with others? Like, what do you? I guess. What type of
I really do
person?
Or I would say, in 21 years of metal detecting, I kind of started out just detecting alone a lot. But a lot of mine, you got to remember, started out with beach hunting and water hunting. So I would just kind of get out there alone. And then when I started the Metal Detecting Club in Galveston, then there was more group hunts and more buddy system hunts, that sort of thing. But I would say it's almost 50-50 with me, because there's a lot of times I want to go hunt, and it's spur of the moment, and I just have to get out, and I just go. I might have a go-to spot, and I don't have time to say, hey, can you come hunt with me? And most of my people that I hunt with, live so far away. It's like I don't really have a hunting buddy here that's close by that I can call up anytime, So I would say probably 50% of the time it's me hunting alone. And then the rest, when I will say that I would probably prefer sometimes going out with a hunting buddy, because for me, and that maybe it's the same way for you. I know the majority of the people that probably listen are men, but as a woman, for me, I feel safer in numbers, I just feel safer having a hunting partner. What about you?
Yeah, I'd agree, and I'd have to say the same thing. I mean, it's 50-50, same thing. Most of the digging partners are further away, so I get done work and I'm like, stressful day. Metal detecting just, it absolutely relieves that stress, and
right.
I'll just pack up my truck and go. So going, yeah, I mean, I do have, there's a couple digging people that I dig with, but I think the closest is an hour and 20 minutes. So that really doesn't work, especially now with the sun setting earlier. And, but yeah,
right.
Digging with others definitely makes me feel safer. I agree with that. I do know that whenever I do go out, I always leave a note or say exactly where I'm going, and that is where I end up going. Just so,
yeah,
leave a trace
I try to
of.
let someone know, right?
Yep.
It's kind of, because I mean, you could get lost, you could lose your phone, there's just so many variables that could happen, and there you would be out in the middle of nowhere. Nobody know where you were. It's kind of scary.
Yep, and I mean, on occasions like that too, that's another reason why I like to dig permissions that I've gotten to know the property owners really well. So, I mean, they basically expect me a good portion of the time. So if I go over, I'll stop in, I'll say, hey, before I go out into their fields or out into their woods, and that way they know I'm there.
Yeah,
and then
or
I check out when
like if they're not going to be home, just say, hey, I'm heading out there, and I think that's always the best idea. I know in the chat some people are saying, they bring their gun with them. I don't own a gun. My cousin did buy me one of those little zapper shocker things, but a lot of times it's in my backpack, so it would be hard for me to pull out, So sometimes I have a knife on me, but that's about it.
I need more practice. I do. And I mean, it never hurts to have as much practice as possible. I grew up shooting. My dad taught me how, but it's been a long time. So, definitely, yeah, we have one now, and I do. Thankfully, one of my permissions actually has a gun range, so I just need to get over there and shoot some before. But it's
how does that? I mean, I don't even know the law. I'm so bad. It just shows you how bad it is. I don't even know the law on carrying, like, I know you got to go, like, for traveling, it would be harder to carry the gun, or, I mean, you can't carry it on. So, I mean, for us, we're going to be out, detecting after pound the ground, we might be out somewhere remote. We're not going to, well, you'll be driving, so you won't have to worry about that. So if you brought a gun, that would be great. But for me, when I'm traveling, you can't bring a gun. And somebody mentioned mace, and someone said bear mace. I didn't even know they made bear mace. That's
they make
cool.
They also make a pepper spray that's a pepper spray mace, and then it's got like an ultraviolet. So say you did spray somebody and they, caught them and you weren't really sure, they could turn the black light on and, oh, look, it was you. But that's actually a really, really easy, it's a little handheld that you can easily link to your digging pouch. And I think I might have an extra. I might have to bring one for you. I don't know, though, if you can travel on the plane with one. So, but that, I have one in my truck. Yeah, and I have one on my pouch. So,
well, a long time ago, I used to carry mace, on my keychain. But I really do need to get some mace or pepper spray that I can at least put in my back, pack. I could probably check, in my suitcase when I travel. But I really need to get some for, like, when I'm detecting here. And I noticed that Mark had said, you have to check it in a locked case, but and notify the airline that you're carrying it. So I guess you can fly with them. Just, of course, won't be able to bring it on the plane, of course, but that's good to know.
I'm not sure. I would obviously, I think I'd look into the laws if I'm going to travel with it, because I know Maine has different laws than New Hampshire, has different laws than Massachusetts, and all the states all the way to New York. So it would...
That would be bad.
Yeah. And I mean, some of them did say too, the shovel, use it like an axe, or learn the secret safety or secret technique of shovel wielding.
Right.
Yeah.
And Steve says, Gypsy, you might be the only gal in Texas that doesn't carry. LOL. That's about right. I mean, Texas, probably 80% of the women carry one in their purse, I don't know. It's not that I haven't shot guns before or anything, and I just never liked having guns in the house, with kids. So Paul said predator shovel used like an axe, and that's kind of always been my go-to weapon. Like, if I did have to defend myself, would be, I've always got my shovel in my hand. So it would be a fairly deadly weapon if used properly. So that's something that I've always thought about. If I get attacked, well, at least I've got my shovel. Another thing that I did recently buy, he said axe, I did buy a little bitty to bring out into the woods with me. I have a machete, but this is something smaller, is a small little miniature, I guess you call it an axe, hatchet. Hatchet.
Like a hatchet? Yeah.
Yeah, I got a little hatchet, and that booger is sharp as can be, and boy, it works great when you're in the woods and you need to get through some of those areas. So I do usually, what I'll do is I'll tie that hatchet onto my belt, and it, of course, has something, a case thing over the sharp part, so I don't fall and hurt myself. But
that wouldn't be good.
That wouldn't be good. But I could probably bring that too in the suitcase with me. But anyway.
You're gonna be looking at your bag going, what in the heck is this lady doing?
Right. Oh man. Known as the axe lady.
Yeah. But I mean, if I could have digging partners all the time, that would be great. But it would be.
I totally agree. Why don't you live closer?
I know.
We might just have to move.
Yeah, this way though. Move this way.
or definitely. Where there's more history. I can summer in Texas, or no, winter in Texas and summer there.
Yeah. Summer in New England.
Yep. I could totally do that. Someday, I'm just going to have a tiny house and my little gypsy wagon, and I'm just going to travel and detect. So I'll come back home occasionally, see the kiddos, and anyway.
Yeah.
I was reading Bill's comment.
Gonna have to make bumper stickers that says "Have detector, will travel" for it. Definitely.
I don't know if any of you, I know Mike have ever seen the back of my car has, my YouTube channel on it. It's a big sticker, vinyl custom sticker I got made. But I have a friend that's going to he has the perforated, like, that you can see through, where it's going to go over the whole window. So I'm actually going to have that done. So I'm excited. And I'm going to put something on there, I think, where they can contact me somewhere on the window, like, maybe it needs to say "Have detector, will travel." Now, how would you put that? What would be a good way to put that on the window? Like, I'm
not sure.
Got history? I don't.
Yeah, got history.
Question mark. Like
got relics.
Got relic. Got property. Got property. That's what. Question mark. Got property. Let me hunt. Let me detect here.
Yeah, we'll dig it.
We'll dig it. Oh gosh. Well, you got anything else you want to talk about this evening, or are we getting kind of close to what it's been? It's only been a little over an hour now.
Yeah.
We don't want to bore everybody to death.
I don't know. Are we boring everyone?
I don't think so. Hopefully not.
No.
Everybody's been commenting in the chat, so that's always good.
Talking about you being an axe hunter.
Well, this is for a story when I see you in person. I won't tell them here, but I once played a woodcutter in a play. I'll tell you about that.
You played a woodcutter.
I did. Well, I played several parts in the play, so that's another totally different thing. Anyway, that's for another day.
So with birthdays or Christmas or special occasions, or does everyone around you, do they kind of start planning out, like, okay, does she need a new shovel? Does she need new gear? Is it all geared towards, your hobby, towards metal detecting, like whether it's cases to put stuff in? Do you think it's made?
Yeah.
Do you think it's easy shopping?
Yeah, probably. I mean, but what's weird is not very many people, I will say a few select people in my family that are closest to me know to ask me, hey, are you needing anything metal detecting wise? Everybody else, I get something, totally not metal detecting related. So, But then I usually get the, hey, this is your day, like on birthday. You want to go metal detecting? Well, of course I do. That's what I want for my birthday. Just find me a really good spot, like your little birthday surprise.
Yeah, that was. I wasn't sure if it was, just me or if it's, everyone else. Like, all right, it's your birthday, so what do you want to do today? Well, I don't want to hang out with any of you. I want to go in the woods.
I just want to go detect. That is totally me. That is totally me too.
Kind of mean, but yet at the same time, it's like, but that's all I want to do.
I know. See, you and I are so alike, and I'm sure as most of the people listening this evening, I mean, if they're anything like, that's pretty much what I have on the brain 24/7 is metal detecting. I can't help it. Oh, that's bad, I guess.
Nah, well, I mean, it's allowed, right? Everybody else, I said it's allowed. It's allowed. Jeff, he's stringing up the pop tabs to make Katie a necklace for her birthday.
Aww. Aww.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's that's something that we really, I feel bad because I keep a lot of junk that I find as well, besides the relics and the cool stuff that I put in my cases. Because I always say, I've got an idea of repurposing this item, in some way to make a gift for someone or, repurposing it. And then I don't ever get around to it. And it's so bad.
It's, well, time flies. Time flies when you're having fun.
Right? It does.
Or when you're not having fun.
One thing I have done, though, is a lot of the colored glass shards that I'll pick up a lot, some of the lights in the house, I put them, up in the light fixture, when you change the bulb, and you can lay, what you can do is you can lay a bunch of that glass, and it makes it kind of all the pretty colors shine through. That's something that I've pretty recently done that's cool. Just kind of repurpose some of the glass. And then I have a big jar in my entryway that I put a lot of the broken glass down into. I'm going to try to fill it with all different kinds of colors. I think that'd be pretty. And then what's so bad is, though, sometimes I get out and I'm finding all this cool glass, but I just leave it. I'm so busy, digging the hole, so I forget to put, in my bag and carry it back. So I'm like, oh, why didn't I pick up that glass? So Bill has a question.
Yeah. How do you clean, preserve, and display? Well, I'm slacking on the cleaning right now. I have a feeling it's going to be sitting in. I have select boxes for each permission, or each. I have, public box as well for places, and they're all individually in bags and dated and kind of like indexed. And when I get a chance, I'll take them out and clean them, and then I have that. I either use, depending on the item, a soft bristle toothbrush, soap and water, or a brass brush, or nothing at all because I don't want to destroy whatever it is.
Yeah, I really don't like over-cleaning my stuff. I'm so scared that I'm going to over-clean. I kind of like it. A lot of it the way it is.
I kind of like the dirt showing in some of the stuff. It makes it more pronounced if it's certain coins or buttons or.
Right.
I mean, I just cleaned up some of those buttons with a brass brush and CLR and Evapor Rust, and they came out beautiful. But I'm looking at it going, oh, I wish I hadn't done it because it looked, older and looked like awesome from the way it was found.
Right.
And now it looks like, oh, this could have come out of somebody's drawer. So I'm kind of bummed by that. I'm going back and forth on whether I even want to do any more of those.
Right.
But yeah, the Renaissance wax works really well as well.
Does it?
I know I've
never tried that.
Yep, I've used it. I had some Civil War tokens that are falling apart that I did it on, and it seems to be working pretty nice on it. And then I have a giant cash wrap, like a jewelry cash wrap type jewelry. I call it the treasure chest, but it's
cool.
Glass, and it's
like display?
Basically,
okay.
Yep, display, and it's got a light in it, and I put all the I had all the items out in it separate, but I figured that it looked like they were deteriorating, so I put them in their own individual, like a display, like I can't even think of what the name of they are, but then I put those silica packets behind it as well, so it keeps it dry, because we do get humidity here as well, and I didn't want any more deterioration.
Yeah. Right.
But I mean, honestly, a lot of my finds go back to the property owners. So I don't do too much cleaning on them. Yeah.
Right, right.
I mean, the finds I do keep, I kind of like the dirt on them. So I don't know.
I'm like the same way. I'm a lot the same way. I do a minimum cleaning. And, I used to even, and I haven't done this in a long time, I know a lot of people take their clad. I know that you probably don't dig as much clad, but hunting, cellar holes and all that kind of stuff, you don't dig clad. But if you're digging like where I dig a lot in the rivers and more public places and more modern properties, you dig a lot of clad. So around here, how do you, the question for a lot of people is how do you clean your clad? And I know a lot of people, I've done the tumbling and stuff like that. And then, of course, it's always best, you got to separate your pennies, from your silvery. I always separate my quarters and dimes, and then do the nickels separate, and also do the pennies separate. Because if you don't, you're going to end up with coppery colored coins if you tumble them all together. But as for cleaning, a lot of my stuff is just a gentle clean, and then I put it directly into my display case. I've got separate cases, for my ring finds, and then I've got some of my cases that are, just for certain hunts, kind of like what you do. But then I've also got some with some miscellaneous stuff that I just really like, all in, different cases. And then, I don't know, my cases seem to be a lot of random stuff, and then a lot of stuff that I haven't put in cases yet, that I'm waiting, till I get enough of certain things, Mike says he uses boiled linseed oil. I bet that would be a good thing to help preserve, kind of put a oil coat over some of that, especially some of the relics. What about electrolysis? Have you ever tried that with some of your iron relics?
I have. Yeah, I have. And John took an old cell phone charger and was able to separate it and put alligator clips, and it seemed to actually work. Yeah, it's not for huge, because if you're thinking of the size of the cell phone charger is really not that big. So we use it on smaller things that we were trying to identify or couldn't quite tell. But it would be really neat to actually do a larger scale version of it. because I know that, and I have cases of, same with you, that you think it might be junk. It kind of probably is, but you're like,
but you like it anyway.
yeah, yep. And for some reason, I find a lot of the stove parts around here. So they're you'll find them in the field, cast iron. And I mean, I know Sunday morning I managed to find some with the beautiful like flower design all over it. And I'm like, oh, I need to end up, trying to do some work on that. But yeah, I think I need to make it a larger scale because it won't fit in the little bowl I have to do the electrolysis in. So
yeah, I mainly only use electrolysis, on my rusty, more iron type stuff. I guess I'm kind of scared to use it on much of anything else. And then I just started using the CRL or CLR? CLR.
CLR.
I've got a pocket knife that I found in the river not too long ago, and for the most part it looks pretty good, and I soaked it in some of that and got a lot of the rest. I think I'll be able to open it and use it, but there's still a little bit on there that I got to get off. I'm hoping I'll be able to restore it enough.
I never used CLR actually until this past weekend. Before that, I've always used, it's called a VapoRust. And
I've heard of that. Do you like that?
I love it. It's actually one of those, like, I was able to, soak a toy gun that was just totally immersed in rust. And it was able to clear all the rust off, and it kept the paint. The original paint that was on this toy gun was still on the gun after. Yeah, so I was really impressed. Yeah, I'll send you a picture. Auto parts stores have it. But
okay, auto parts stores.
Yep, and it was some of the buttons that I had found, it was like they had burned them, or they were in giant chunks of rust. And I grabbed a few that I'm like, you know what, these are probably ruined, but I want to test out some different theories on, like, I wanted to try CLR and I wanted to try some other stuff. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to, these buttons are probably too far gone. It will give me a chance to experiment. And I soaked one giant chunk in that VapoRust, and by the time I got all the rust off, I'm like, oh my gosh, this button is almost, it's perfect. And then I did a little bit of the CLR on it. Still, I've never really used CLR before, so it's something, I think basically any of your cleaning techniques, if you find one that works, it just takes a little while to really
Exactly, so, and not to rush it.
Yeah, and I think it's going to take a few times of learning exactly what that product can do for a find, because I know what a VapoRust can do because I've done it multiple times on different finds. And so, yeah, it's something that I guess I'm going to have to practice with the CLR a little bit more. But yeah, that a VapoRust seems to be pretty good.
Yeah, send me some pics and remind me of Vapor, because I probably won't remember that. So when I go to a parts store next time, I need to get oil for my car anyway. So I'll grab some of that. And Mike had just sent me. He had commented earlier that he uses linseed oil, and sent me over a before and after of cleaning a Civil War button, and it cleaned up beautifully. So I'm guessing he soaks it in it. I've also heard some people use olive oil, linseed oil. Another thing someone asked about vinegar. Vinegar is good. It kind of can be harsh a little, so you don't want to soak it too long. Another one that I use sometimes is lemon juice. that if I don't have much time to clean something, lemon juice will get a lot of that layer of stuff off, that, first layer. I use it a lot. But I only use it on stuff that I I wouldn't use it on a Civil War button. I wouldn't use it on certain things. So I would just be cautious, because the acid in the lemon juice can get a little aggressive, so you don't want to soak it in there long at all. So I would say probably like what Mike had said earlier with that linseed oil, and something that you want to preserve more, like the Civil War buttons or military buttons, something like that. Linseed oil would be better. But I do use olive oil a lot, especially from not olive oil, the lemon juice, and a lot of the finds that I find in the river, because a lot of it has a calcite buildup on it, and that lemon juice really seems to eat that calcite away. So that's always good.
Yeah, that's something actually I asked John to pick up last weekend as well, was lemon juice. It's not something I've used on any of my finds either. So again, I was like, now I know there's some stuff that's toasted that's just beyond, repair. And I'm like, well, these would actually be good things to be able to try to test some of the different cleaning methods. I mean, there's just so many out there.
Right.
So, and
right.
everyone, some it might take 5 minutes, some it might have to sit for weeks, so I was like, well, I'm going to do my own process of elimination of what works best.
Of what works for you best.
Yeah,
Mike said, in the chat, he said just dab a little, very little, on it, like a little, I guess the object, and a little on the, and then use a terry cloth, to kind of slowly clean it off, and that's what he cleans his stuff with. And then olive oil, yeah, I've tried olive oil before. I don't really like it. Scott in chat says it's bad and it doesn't preserve the metal. So I would use that as like a last resort. I think the linseed oil would be much better than the olive oil.
Are people using olive oil to clean, or was it to preserve?
Some people will soak it more. I don't know. But I've just heard of people using it. I've tried it. I didn't like it, the olive oil. So I use other methods.
There's definitely plenty out there.
Oh, yeah. There's so many different ways, cleaning methods, and ways to display your finds, and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, same with, it depends on the item, too.
Right. It really does. It really, really does. Anything else that anybody wants to mention in chat that they want us to talk about, or?
Still going back and forth on the cleaning?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just kind of reading everybody's on the cleaning and stuff. But yeah, I think, like you said, sometimes it's trial by error, but of course you don't want to, you don't want to overclean or ruin. You want to preserve. And Scott also says the Renaissance wax. He loves it. And I've heard a lot about that.
So good.
There's different kinds of waxes on the market, and it really does make it look really good and preserves it, kind of seals it with that wax coating, and makes it look really nice. Yeah,
I do have to say that is, I used that on the Civil War tokens I had found, and each time I found one. So I think for the last 2 years or 3 years, I've been putting that on them, and I'll pull them out here and there and take a look, and I'm like, oh, they still look good. So I'm like, all right, it's still holding up, but they're not flaking anymore. It's still So, yeah, no, I like it. And then, yeah, I had, the one thing with the humidity here, because we do get, it does get really humid in the summer, was using those silica packets in the displays. And honestly, like, I think it's been almost a godsend in some of these cases, because I was looking at when you just had the items out and it was like, oh, I'd moved the item that was sitting on the glass and I'm like, oh, you could see it left a mark, or pieces were, flaking off on it, or it wasn't good. So,
Right.
yeah, that was something you had to keep dry. I'm like, oh, brilliant. Comes with, they're in basically everything you buy or purchase, or so. Right.
I really need to try that Renaissance wax. You could probably just order it somewhere online. I'll have to check that out, especially for relics and stuff. That looks like it would be one of the best things to use. I know some people use those pencils,
Andres?
On some of those coins. Yeah, Andres pencils. Yep. I've never tried those. Have you?
I have. I've done a little bit. I think operator error. Perhaps I need to watch the videos some more. I'm not really sure. I think one of them I pretty much understand how to use, and it seems like it works pretty well. The other three, I'm just not, I guess, not proficient at it, and get worried that, I'm like, oh, it's not worth destroying the finds. So in most situations, a dry, soft bristle toothbrush is my go-to. So.
Right. Yeah, I use the soft bristle toothbrush, and I've also picked up some of those, like you can get at Harbor Freight, different types of brushes. Like if there's something that I really don't care about, that I really need to get a big, thick layer of something off of, I will use the wire brushes.
But did you know, a digger actually told me this past weekend as well to bring a magnet with you. So if you're trying to buy a brass brush at different stores, stick the magnet to it to verify that it is in fact a brass brush, because they're selling brass-coated, stainless steel or whatever.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. And obviously anything else will destroy an item if you're trying to clean it with the brass brush. So, and I did. I went to 2 stores and I'm like, it said brass brush, and I stuck the magnet and it stuck to it. And I'm like, these are not brass brushes.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I figured you mentioned it, and it made the brush thing. I'm like, I got to share that information. Bring a magnet.
That's interesting, because I may get some more brushes before I leave to go, because I lost one of mine in the woods this last, whenever it was, a few days ago. Scott mentioned toothpick as well. Do you usually bring, some toothpicks, like if you get an Indian and you want to clean it off, in the field, do you pick it or anything like that? Like a copper, since I never dig the big coppers. I don't usually carry a toothpick, but I was wondering if you did.
When I travel far away, I have a cleaning kit that has the toothbrush, toothpick, a bunch of stuff. But I'm actually finding more and more lately that I'll fill up a pouch with dirt and put my finds in the dirt with it, so I can carry it longer. And that way certain things won't start flaking off or yep. So that's what I've been doing. And then I don't clean it in the field at all. So.
Oh, you don't?
So that's downfall.
I clean a lot of my stuff, not a good cleaning. A lot of times I'll just say, hey, I'll wait. But since I do video for my YouTube channel, I do a mild, a quick cleanup just to maybe try to get a date, or like if it's a coin, or if it's a button, just a quick little dry brush just to kind of get a better look at it while I'm in the field, and then wait till I get back to give it a proper cleaning, because I like to know what I've done. A lot of times there's just times you can't when you're in the field. You just don't have the proper stuff, and you don't want to mess up or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think I've gotten more so that I'm like, oh, awesome. It's a button. Don't know what type of button, but I'm on to the next one. I'm going again. Yeah, like, thought I found just a regular nickel this past weekend, and it was a buffalo nickel. I'm like, I got home, and I'm emptying the dirt out and shaking it out and taking the fines out, and I'm like, I turned it, and I'm like, oh. So it was like...
That's a nice little surprise.
Yeah, so it was awesome to find in the field. Wasn't quite sure what it was, and even cooler when I got home, and I'm like, oh, this is great.
See, and I'm so bad about when I'm detecting now, and because I'm videoing as I'm going along, like my V-nickel. I knew I had a nickel because it was a nickel reading on my detector, and it popped out looking like a nickel. So I'm like, okay, I got either a buffalo because the property was older, or a V-nickel, or hopefully, a shield nickel. And it did turn out to be a V-nickel. So for a nickel, I don't mind using, a little wire brush or a brush to get it cleaned off enough to kind of know what I've got in the field. Now, for anything else, I would be a little bit more concerned doing a cleaning like that, in the field or anything like that. Like David had just said, leaving a patina. He's asking leaving patina is best, and I agree. I think, the natural patina. I think it's best, always.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like it. I like that look.
I do too. I'm sorry, I'm reading people's comments here. So.
Yeah, the rice. I think that's probably
a good thing to kind of keep it from rubbing on each other, or the delicate stuff. It's a good idea. Never thought about that.
I think that's so I think that kind of works when I put the dirt in too. But I think it counteracts it if you've already cleaned the item, so that won't work.
Right. Yeah. Anybody else? Any other ways you clean certain things? I know with the jewelry, I usually, it's just basic soap and water, and if it's a silver, I might use a silver cleaner, but usually just something non-abrasive, just easy. And that's about it. Anybody else? Nobody?
Are you going to plan on getting out at all this week?
Hopefully tomorrow or the next day. So, yeah, I'm hoping to. And it may be some river hunts because I don't have much more time till the rivers start getting too cold. And then I have to, that's when I always have to, once it gets too cold, it's what's the word I'm looking for? My waders, and then it's just like too cold, so I just don't.
Do the waders also make it really heavy to walk up the river in to try to detect?
Yes, because the waders, like the rubber boot part at the bottom, they'll like compress, I guess you would say, the word I'm looking for. And then it's hard to walk, and yeah, it's a pain. So I would just rather wait for the warmer weather again.
So then you're going to try to do the river this week?
Yeah, either tomorrow or the next day, make a little river trip. Not to the local river. There's 2 local rivers near here, but still having reports of the flesh-eating virus stuff. Or I guess that's what it is, flesh-eating, yeah.
Oh, dear. Still?
Yeah, still. And I guess it just hasn't cooled down enough to kill that bacteria or whatever, so, or virus or whatever it is. So, yeah, I have to go to, it's about almost a 2-hour drive from here to the Guadalupe River, to where people float down and do a lot of water activity in the river, and they float the river and stuff, and so that's where I usually go to water hunt, and the water's really cool and cold there, so you don't have to worry about the bacteria or anything like that.
Oh, that's good.
It kills all that bacteria. It's real clear and beautiful. So, yeah. So not much more time of that because it starts getting too cold. The water does. And then when the sun, it's not shining as much and it's not as warm, then it gets freezy cold. So I won't last another month of this, and that'll be about it.
So that's just river.
River here.
And then
if it's up the road, there's a river like 5 miles from where I live, and a creek that I usually hunt in, but I haven't been able to hunt them lately because of the bacteria. So until it cools off enough to kill that for sure, then I'm not going to get in. So I might be able to do some late fall hunting, when I get back from New York, in the creeks and rivers here, because the water is warmer here, so than it is in the Guadalupe and the Frio River and stuff like that.
Awesome. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I'll get a little bit more, but not much more. That season's almost gone.
Yeah, I'm still hoping to do one more lake hunt, the beach and whatnot. Not so much the water, but I don't know. Then it's gone.
Right. Right.
But hopefully harvesting is coming too, so that's going to be good for our cornfields. And
yeah.
I know some are doing second and third cut right now for the haying field, so that's helpful as well. I'll start following them around. But yeah, I'm gonna try. I think trying to get to 2 different spots this week, check them out and see what might be good for the weekend. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. I didn't get to get into that barn the last time, so I'm hoping maybe this week I can actually figure out where the entranceway is, because we were trying to figure out which property it's on, and we're pretty sure it's on the property that we have the permission for. So I'm going to try to see if I can do that. Yeah.
And you'll find a hidden cache in there in the barn.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I've heard of people finding them in those old barns like that. It's a good place to hide it because it's not in the main house. And they're going to go to the barn, the stables, for the horses and stuff. So it was a great place that, if they were having to flee real quick, they could go run in, grab their horses, and grab their stash and leave. So you never know.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think I'd heard that in the cache, a prior podcast.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah. And I think, so Bill was asking, what kind of fine boxes do you carry in the field? Plastic tackle box or do you pile everything in the pouch like him?
I pile a lot of stuff in the pouch. I do have a smaller little plastic container separator that I'll put my finds that I don't, that I want to preserve, and like my coins that I don't want scratched, and my buttons and stuff like that. I have a little plastic container that has these separate compartments in it that has, I just put like cotton and stuff in there to kind of keep it, or you could put foam, I guess. I know a lot of people use foam. And then I also have the Garrett Keeper's box that is nice. The only thing I don't like about that is it's kind of big, and you almost need an extra pouch just to carry that in. So I usually just leave that in my car, and then later, if there's something that I found that I want, I'll put it in the little zipper compartment, or if it's something that I want not to lose or want to keep safe, I'll go back and walk to the car and put it away. So, what about you?
I have a pouch, and then in the pouch I also have a container. That's where I put anything that seems interesting, or buttons, coins. It's actually it's a Ziploc, not a Ziploc, a Tupperware. So when I find my first find, I put it in there with a bunch of dirt and seal it and stick it back in the pouch. And then, but I most of the time too, I have my backpack, which I carry a trash bag in the backpack. So if in the event that I'm digging horseshoes and ox shoes and ox shoes and more ox shoes, and that I can offload them in the bag and then put them in my backpack.
So I got a question for you. Do you keep those, your ox shoes and your horseshoes and those old rusty relics and stuff like that? Do you keep it all?
I do. Yes.
I do too. I love finding them. I can't help it. I love them. I don't know why.
Yep.
And I know a lot of people are like, I just throw that away, or
no,
throw it in a
one of these days,
stick it away. Yep.
Yeah, one of these days I'm going to have the larger scale electrolysis. All of that is going in it. And then maybe I can come up with some cool sign using those. So I don't know. Yeah. I do. I also want to learn to weld, and I want to make you could take a bunch of that and make a sculpture, Yeah.
I've seen some amazing sculptures with horseshoes and stuff, like metal objects like that. That would be amazing. What a neat way to preserve and then say these are all found objects that I found with my metal detector, and it's just huge sculpture in the middle of your living room.
I think I need a whole new, I need a shed. Instead of a she shed, I need a detecting shed, or an art shed.
Detecting shed, yeah, totally. Definitely. I agree. So it's approaching probably time to wrap it up. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss tonight?
I could talk about metal detecting.
I could talk about it all night long. I'll dream about it. Do you ever have that? I have these dreams where I'm digging up something amazing.
I do. The weird thing is it's more dump digging than metal detecting.
Is it really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's because the dump digging, you really never know what you're going to dig up when you're metal detecting, but you've got a somewhat of an idea, well, this is going to be possibly a coin and it's possibly going to be, you've got an idea whether it's ferrous or non-ferrous, as when you're digging in the dump, it's everything and anything, bottles and marbles and relics, and so I can see why the dump digging would be totally, get it.
It might be, too, a lot more personal.
Videos. Gypsy. I am so behind on my editing, David, and I feel bad. Today I was going to work on editing, and I didn't finish my article yet for Dirt Digest magazine, and so I finally finished it today, among some other stuff that I had to get done. So I am so behind. I'm like 5 videos behind on editing, but hopefully this week I may just double up and edit like 2 or 3 and then put them out at the same time before I go to New York. That way I won't be as behind on my editing. So some people are saying good night already.
They're telling you to get off the air. They're like,
I think they
enough.
are.
We're
They're
tired.
like, we put them to sleep.
No.
Did we put you to sleep tonight?
I enjoyed
Mike?
it. I just stayed out of chat, but I was listening. I was getting some work done too. But no, I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Cool. It was fun. I just love just talking. Well, as you know, Mike, I just love.
What? You like talking, huh?
I just love talking anything detecting or
Right.
detecting related. So we could go on and on all night.
Right.
Like we said, I'll dream about it probably tonight.
Right. That's funny.
Oh,
That is too funny. You two did really good together for your first time. Good job.
it was fun. I had fun. Did you, Amanda?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would have to say
Awesome.
that is more than Gypsy has talked probably all the other shows put together.
Because we
really
did it,
good.
we're like conversational back and forth, I think. It worked really well, I think.
Where Matt and I tend to talk over everybody. It's hard to get a word in. I totally get it. I do. I know we're both very bad with that. So I'm glad. I think it went really good, and congratulations on your first show. And although I did peek into chat every now and then, looked like it was a pretty busy night. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Good thing. So you ladies ready to wrap it up?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sounds good.
probably should.
Probably should.
But,
okay.
Yeah, school night. I have to get my munchkin up in the morning. 16-year-old that doesn't want to go to school.
You know what? I bet people would pay me like $20 to come to their house in the morning to drag their kids out. They're like they're teenagers out of bed.
Oh, man. Yeah, you can do that for me.
Right?
That'd be great.
How awesome would that be? Okay, let's wrap it up, ladies.
All right.
It was a great show. Good job. Thank you to all the
Oh,
listeners as well. Really appreciate you tuning in, and everybody have a good night.